Hey everybody, in today's video I'm sharing with you guys how reselling changed my life. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button down below and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Vendoo puts out videos every single Friday sharing videos on how resellers can grow and scale their online reselling business. If you don't know me, my name is Karina, also known as Per Diem Thrifts, here on YouTube, Instagram, Poshmark, wherever. I am a full-time reseller and I also own my own brick and mortar consignment store. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm sharing with you guys how reselling has changed my life. So let's rewind a little bit to the beginning of my reselling journey. Back in 2012, when I was a senior in high school, I decided to just start listing some items that I had in my personal closet on Instagram, of all places, to get them sold to my other classmates. Little did I know that I would be starting the Instagram page that I still have today, Per Diem Thrift. It's gone through a few name changes, but it's still the same account that I started 12 years ago. I had no idea back then that I was starting the foundation to what would eventually become my career. Like I mentioned, I started selling on Instagram and I was only selling to locals, but I learned after some time, once I started gaining more followers, that I was going to have to learn how to ship packages out of state. And so I did. Again, after gaining more followers, following more people, I started noticing this one seller in particular who talked a lot about selling on Poshmark and eBay. And I was so intrigued by these sellers who weren't just sticking on Instagram anymore and who were branching out to actual selling platforms. So I started following more people who were involved in reselling on these other platforms, and I fell down a rabbit hole. As I navigated the reselling landscape, I continued to learn from other resellers online, and I even got to meet some in person. I was becoming more and more serious about turning my little side hustle into a full-time income, and I was learning so many skills along the way. From 2013 to 2016, I was attending community college as a business major, but as I was running my reselling business, I realized I was actually getting hands-on experience while I was going to school. I eventually dropped out after receiving my associate's degree because it got to a point where I knew I wanted to work for myself, and I didn't think that having a degree was really going to change anything other than put me in debt. That's not me saying that you shouldn't go to school for whatever you want. I hope to go back to school eventually, just timing wasn't the right time for me, but I still continue to learn as much as I possibly can about business through books and mentorships and online courses. Being able to experience running a business hands-on is, I think, something that you can't gain out of a classroom setting anyway. So regardless of me not finishing school, I'm still thankful that I did experience what I did and that I learned what I did at that time. Gaining financial independence at a young age was also a huge milestone for me, and it's all thanks to my reselling side hustle. I'll admit I'm still learning when it comes to managing my finances, but my learning style is very hands-on. So this has been a great way for me to learn all of the ins and outs of managing my personal finances as well as my business finances. And another skill that I have learned along the way is definitely self-discipline. As a small business owner, you don't have anyone around you telling you what needs to be done and when it needs to be done by. You have to rely on yourself to get things done by certain deadlines, or else you're just not going to be making any money. Even on those tough days when you would rather chill than, go sourcing or listing your items, just one look at your bank account will help you see that you actually have to get some work done. Being self-disciplined is a very important skill to have no matter what you're doing, whether you are working for yourself or working a 9-to-5 corporate job, whatever it is. I feel like being able to know when it's time to work and when it's time to turn off is a great skill to have. One unexpected aspect of reselling was the community I became a part of. Whether it was through social media, in-person gatherings, or meeting people while I was outsourcing, I found a community where I was able to connect with like-minded people who shared a passion for thrifting and reselling just like me. One of the ways I've been able to meet people is actually through Vendoo. Not only is their team super kind anytime I've met them at in-person gatherings like PoshFest, but also they host occasional Zoom meetings, and this was so huge during the pandemic when we really didn't have much connection, but I was able to chat and network with other resellers who were part of Vendoo and who just shared the same struggles and experiences that I did as a reseller. It was so important to make those connections, and there are some resellers who I would now consider lifelong friends who I wouldn't have met unless I would have started my whole reselling journey in the beginning. You can find accountability partners, peers, mentors, and honestly just really good friends in the reselling community. And again, during the pandemic, I had just moved to a new state. I hadn't known anyone, and really the only connection that I had was on Instagram and through social media to other resellers who lived around the country. And that having that kind of support and that understanding, even with people who kind of seemed like strangers online, had such a big impact on my life and my success as a reseller. Having a support system has made the journey so much more fun and also has allowed me to learn so much from others. There are so many different ways to resell and have a successful reselling business, and there are so many expert resellers in their niches. I focus on women's clothing, and I feel like one of my areas of expertise would be consignment, since I do open a brick and mortar consignment store, but there are other resellers who wouldn't even touch consignment. There are other resellers who wouldn't touch clothes, only sell electronics, only sell hard goods, only sell vintage, whatever it is. And I just think it's so empowering and so wonderful that the reselling community is so diverse, and we can celebrate that at any time. Not only has reselling changed my life as an entrepreneur, but it has also had a huge impact on my personal life. The flexibility that comes along with reselling has allowed me to create a lifestyle that aligns with my values. Like I mentioned, I moved to another state, Oregon, in 2019, right before the pandemic hit, and my life completely changed. I left my full-time job to become a full-time reseller, and at the time our daughter was only, I believe, 2 or 3 years old, and being able to fall back on reselling while doing this huge transition in my life allowed me to be able to stay at home with my daughter. My fiance and I have taken turns being stay-at-home parents, just in different seasons of our life, and at times when maybe we both didn't have real jobs, it was so nice to have reselling to support us and support our family. Even now, my life looks a lot different. My daughter is 6 years old now, and I own a brick and mortar consignment store, and my fiance is working full-time. But I'm so thankful that I've been able to create my own schedule as well as prioritize the things that matter most to me. Reselling has also allowed me to see one of my dreams become a reality, and that is opening my brick and mortar consignment store. I took all of the skills and lessons that I learned as an online reseller and applied them into this endeavor, and honestly, at the foundation of it, I think consignment is obviously still reselling, so there's a lot that overlaps, and there is definitely a lot of other things that I'm still learning along the way and things that are new to me, but I don't think that I would be able to have the knowledge of inventory and of how to generate sales if it weren't for all the years that I spent reselling online. So there you have it. That's how reselling has changed my life. It's been an incredible journey filled with challenges, growth, and unforgettable experiences. If you're considering diving into reselling, I encourage you to take the leap. You never know where it might lead you. Even if you do, just keep it as a side hustle. It can be so much fun, and you will be welcomed in by just a wonderful reselling community. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to Vendoo's YouTube channel, and we will see you next time for another video. Bye!